In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 NBA games happening on December 1st, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Cleveland Cavaliers versus Indiana Pacers. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Indiana Pacers meet at Gainbridge Fieldhouse on Monday night in a matchup shaped by recent form, injuries, and schedule strain. Cleveland comes in after losses to the Celtics and Hawks, with the Trailblazers on deck, and the slump now sits at 3 straight defeats. Indiana arrives after wins over the Wizards and Bulls, with the Nuggets next on the schedule, although the broader slide still shows 16 losses in the last 20 games. Cleveland enters the night without Sam Merrill, Max Struss, Lonzo Ball, and Jarrett Allen. Indiana remains without Tyrese Halliburton, Obi Toppin, Aaron Nesmith, and Johnny Furphy. Cleveland has struggled to find rhythm while short-handed, and the tight turnaround from the loss to Boston adds more weight to the challenge. Indiana's long cold stretch held them down for weeks, yet the group has steadied itself with 2 strong outings that lifted the defense and brought some stability. Cleveland holds a talent edge, and the market reflects that. The injuries, the back-to-back, and the poor performance against the spread keep them from building trust. The 6-15 record against the number places them near the bottom of the league, ahead of only the Clippers in cover rate. Indiana has begun to settle in, and the recent defensive lift paired with home court and rest shapes a clear context as the matchup sets up. As our first pick for this matchup, the Indiana Pacers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Cleveland averages 118.9 points while shooting 46% from the field and gives up 115.7 points while allowing 46.6% shooting. They hit 35.4% from deep and 75.8% at the line. Opponents shoot 36.4% from 3. The group secures 43.7 rebounds each game. Indiana averages 109.8 points while shooting 2.4% from the field and allows 118.6 points on 47.2% shooting. They shoot 31.7% from 3 and 77.9% at the line. Opponents shoot 32.1% from the arc. The group collects 45.3 rebounds each game. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Milwaukee Bucks versus Washington Wizards. The matchup takes place at Capital One Arena on Monday night. One side comes in after a loss to New York, a win over Brooklyn, and a meeting with Detroit next on the schedule. That group has dropped 8 of its last 10 games and has not found a steady rhythm. The other side arrives after a loss to Indiana, a win over Atlanta, and a date with Philadelphia on deck. That team has fallen in 21 of its last 24 games and has struggled to control any part of its season. One roster is still without Taurean Prince. The other has ruled out Trey Johnson and Corey Kispert, with Alex Sarr labeled as questionable because of right adductor soreness. The first team looked out of sync for much of the recent stretch, although its convincing result against Brooklyn helped clear some frustration. The second team continues to slide, shown by a heavy defeat to a group that had its own issues. Losing Sarr would remove one of the few steady pieces it has had this year. The second club has poor form both straight up and against the spread. Its record against the number sits at 5-13, which places it near the bottom of the league. Only 2 teams cover at a lower rate. The first club has covered in 7 of its last 8 games when favored by double digits. In its 2 double-digit favorite spots this season, it has won by an average of 15 points. One of those came in the opener on October 22, which ended at 133-120. The first club has not played sharp basketball for long stretches, although the level shown in the Brooklyn win suggests it can still break open games against weaker opponents. The second team has lacked consistency, effort, and depth, and now deals with injury issues on top of that. As our first pick for this matchup, the Milwaukee Bucks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The first team averages 115.5 points on 49.2% shooting and gives up 117.7 points on 47.5% shooting. It connects on 41% from deep and 70.7% from the line, while allowing opponents to hit 36% from three. It collects 39.9 rebounds per game. The second team averages 112.5 points on 46.2% shooting and allows 127.7 points on 48.1% shooting. It shoots 37.4% from three and 74.4% from the line, while its opponents hit 37.1% from deep. It gathers 43.1 rebounds per game. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Atlanta Hawks versus Detroit Pistons. The Atlanta Hawks enter the second leg of a back-to-back when they travel to face the Detroit Pistons on Monday night. Atlanta returns to action with no rest after grinding through a double overtime win at Philadelphia, a 142-134 result. The Hawks hold a 13-8 record, but the setup works against them. They played extended minutes, then traveled during a short two-game trip, and they remain short-handed. Trae Young is out with a knee issue, and Kristaps Porzingis has missed the last two games due to illness. They now meet a Detroit team that sits atop the Eastern Conference at 16-4. Detroit halted its first two-game slide of the season by beating Miami on Saturday, then used Sunday to recover. The Pistons return to their home floor, where only Cleveland and Orlando have beaten them, two clubs with strong talent in the conference. Cade Cunningham averages 28.8 points, 9.4 assists, and 6.4 rebounds, and he has led Detroit in both scoring and playmaking in 6 straight games. Jalen Duran and Duncan Robinson remain day-to-day, but Detroit still holds a strong roster edge. Atlanta faces fatigue from heavy minutes and travel, and without Young and possibly Porzingis, the depth gap grows. The Hawks could ease off if the night turns difficult, satisfied with splitting this segment of their schedule. Atlanta has produced profit this season, and the point spread is sizable enough to draw interest. The concern centers on the Hawks playing with no rest after a double overtime game while dealing with injuries. If Porzingis remains unavailable, the load on the remaining rotation increases, especially against Detroit's physical defense. The Pistons beat Atlanta by 8 points 2 weeks ago. Detroit owns a 13-7 record against the spread, and only two teams hold a stronger cover rate. Atlanta has played well, and taking the points appeals on paper, but the circumstances pose a clear challenge after extended minutes the previous night. Detroit edged Miami in its last game, and it continues to show strong form. The matchup places strain on a short-handed Hawks roster. As our first pick for this matchup, the Detroit Pistons to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Atlanta plays fast with a pace rating that ranks 8th in the league according to dunksandthrees.com. Detroit sits in the 11th spot, so both teams push possessions and create a high-scoring environment. Recent meetings support that trend, with 3 straight overs and 7 overs in the last 8 matchups. Detroit has also gone over in 5 straight games. The style and recent data point toward another high-output night. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Chicago Bulls versus Orlando Magic. The Chicago Bulls visit the Orlando Magic at the Kia Center on Monday night. Chicago enters the game without Zach Collins, Isaac Okoro, Jalen Smith, and Dalen Terry. Orlando remains without Paolo Banchero and Moritz Wagner. Chicago's form has dipped again, and the recent loss to a struggling Pacers group pushed their confidence lower. Orlando has moved in the opposite direction. The Magic have played steady basketball, and their tough win over a hot Pistons team added to the sense that they are settling into a strong rhythm. Chicago took the first meeting this season and has won 3 of the past 4, yet their current trend moves the other way. Their recent stretch includes questionable defeats, 6 straight failed covers, and a 2-8 against the spread mark across their last 10. Orlando sits at 8-2 straight up and 8-2 against the spread in that same span. The separation in consistency is clear. Orlando has more stability, while Chicago has struggled to find any. The matchup leans toward the healthier, steadier group by the time the final call makes sense. As our first pick for this matchup, the Orlando Magic to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Chicago averages 120 points on 47.3% shooting while giving up 123.1 points on 46.9% shooting. They hit 37.3% from deep and 78.9% at the line, and they grab 46.2 rebounds. Orlando scores 119.3 points on 47.6% shooting and allows 114.1 points on 47.2% shooting. They shoot 34.7% from 3 and 80.9% at the stripe, and they secure 44.8 boards per game. The numbers set up a path that depends on pace control and defensive focus from both sides, with the final judgment shaped by how each team manages the possessions that usually swing totals. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Charlotte Hornets versus Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets and Charlotte Hornets meet on Monday night at Barclays Center in a matchup that sets two struggling groups against each other. Charlotte enters after wins over the Bulls and Raptors, with the Knicks on deck, yet the wider picture shows a team that has dropped 21 of its last 27 games. Brooklyn arrives after losses to the 76ers and Bucks, with the Bulls up next, and its recent slide includes 19 defeats in its last 22 contests. Charlotte's recent results look better on the surface, and the roster compares well against Brooklyn. Charlotte also handled Brooklyn earlier in the season with a 19-point margin. Even so, the idea of laying points with Charlotte on the road brings hesitation. Since the start of 2023, Charlotte has been favored on the road only 8 times before this meeting and has covered 3 times while missing 5. Brooklyn's home results have been sparse, but if a home win is going to appear, this matchup gives them a chance based on form and context. As our first pick for this matchup, the Brooklyn Nets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Charlotte averages 115.9 points on 45.4% shooting while giving up 120.2 points on 50% shooting. Charlotte hits 34.4% from deep and 83% at the line. Opponents shoot 40.1% from 3, and Charlotte collects 44.6 rebounds per game. Brooklyn posts 108.4 points on 43.9% shooting and allows 119.3 points on 50.3% shooting. Brooklyn converts 33.6% from 3 and 77.8% at the stripe. Opponents shoot 39% from long distance, and Brooklyn secures 39 rebounds per game. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.